What up, Duval? Duval. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? C4 here, welcome back to the channel. And today we're for a brand new Madden 25 realistic rebuild of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Team where we have at minimum of 5, maximum of 10 years to turn them around, solve the Jaguars' many problems, and find a way to bring this franchise to their first ever Super Bowl. After firing Doug Peterson, shout out Press Taylor, the Jacksonville Jaguars go on like a pretty weird head coaching search, and they end up deciding that looked like he was returning, and then there was some sort of flight stuff going on, former Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator Liam Coen as their next head coach. I'm going to be honest, this hire is very similar to like when the Titans hired Brian Callahan. It's just like, oh, that's a human being. That's a person. That's a person I know. In Cohen's case, I mean, hey, you know, if we look at what Tampa Bay has been able to achieve, they lost, Mike Evans for most of the season, Chris Godwin for most of the season, still were able to have a somewhat decent passing offense. Do you attribute Liam Coen to the revival of Baker Mayfield or the development of Bucky Irving kind of coming out of nowhere? And it does and has kind of felt the last 2 seasons like the Bucs have a kind of potent offense. So I get the hire. It's not ridiculous, even though that clip from the press conference yesterday was ridiculous. Put it in here, please, so that my intro doesn't look super weird, like I'm having a stroke. But we're feeling interested about this roster. There's 3 teams that I was on the fence about rebuilding. One was the Vegas Raiders, but for that, I mean, I just don't know what I want to do there yet. Got Pete Carroll, got Tom Brady at the helm. We'll figure it out. 2 is the LA Chargers. That has been, I'm seeing you in the comments, a top requested team for me to eventually rebuild. And I had the Jags at number 3. And then when I saw Duval, I was like, no, that's it. Okay, he's memed himself into the top of the list for who we try to fix next. So let's take a look at this Jags team. You got Walker Little, former 5-star recruit in high school. He's at left tackle. Cleveland, Moore, Scherf, and Harrison. That's an offensive line. I don't know. That's a mixed bag. I know Morris and Sheriff have their best football behind them. We're likely going to have to retool this offensive line. And by likely, I mean almost certain. You have Evan Ingram, 85, 86 with a boost, superstar tight end. He's what, 28? 30! Oh! Now, I'm, early 30s myself. So to put this politely for Evan Ingram, maybe we'll just say he's a trade candidate this offseason. The running back room here, going to the skill positions, you got Bigsby and ETN. How is ETN still a superstar, Dev? It is beyond me. We got an interesting decision to make. In this scheme and system, our running backs going to be performers? Because if they are, we might, want to entertain long-term development for one of these guys. But if this is an interchangeable running back system where you just draft one, and if you hit on a draft one, maybe we'll see. We will see. But we'll put a question mark to be safe at the running back spot. Wide receiver, you got Christian Kirk, very expensive slot wide receiver, productive. Have not got a great return on investment on Gabe Davis. Decent depth, but congratulations. The most receiving yards by a rookie this year. A height, weight, speed freak with a superstar dev trait. The Jacksonville Jaguars. This is karma for the Justin Blackmon ordeal. You get Brian Thomas Jr., 87 catches, almost 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. That's more than Malik Neighbors, more than Brock Bowers, more than Ladd McConkey, more than Marvin Harrison, more than Roma Dunze, more than Xavier Worthy, and a very, very good class. Brian Thomas sits atop of that, so he is going to be an integral piece of this rebuild. And I would like to think that we can make some sort of strong connection between him and Trevor Lawrence. If Liam Coen's getting this job, it's because of the work he did with Baker Mayfield. So you're looking at Trevor Lawrence saying, you need to save this guy next. This is your next reclamation project. Because 2 years ago, Trevor Lawrence was 23, superstar dev, like 82, 83, and like the most overpowered quarterback in Madden. The most, maybe not the most, but like certainly in the discussion, if you're throwing out a short list of like, if you had to start a new franchise today, who are you picking? There was still more than enough people picking the upside and betting that Trevor Lawrence is going to become that generational player coming out of college that he thought he was going to be. And now we sit here, he's 25 years old, 74 with a star depth trait. I mean, the skill set's still kind of there. Maybe dogging him a little bit on the 92 throw power, but he's the 24th ranked quarterback in the league right now. He needs saving, and that is exactly priority numero uno for Liam Coen becoming the new coach here of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think it's kind of funny that like we compare Trevor Lawrence and Andrew Luck is like the last two true wow blue chip college quarterback prospects that should become sure things in the NFL. And then you kind of look and like it feels eerily similar. Like Andrew Luck probably had a better career to this date than Trevor Lawrence. But these are like blue chip players that just never got to reach their potential because of a bad team and bad roster. Right? Andrew Luck had that. That's why he retired early. Trevor Lawrence has gone through Urban Meyer. How many coaches? Doug Marrone, was he there? Urban Meyer. Sideshow. You get Press Taylor with Doug Peterson. Sideshow. It's been just turd sandwich after turd sandwich for Trevor Lawrence. And I'm going to tell you what. In this rebuild, we are going to try our best. Now, there may come a jumping off point that we can't salvage him. But I'm confident. I'm confident in my skills as a rebuilder. I'm confident in some of the pieces we have here will get it going. Look at the defense. Defense is a tough one because I don't know who the DC is going to be there in Jacksonville. I'm just kind of going off of Coen's past. It's been with the LA Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So likely he'll be getting a 3-4 guy. This is how it could potentially line up. You have Trevon Walker. I think he can kind of be a tweener that lines up on the line because, what is he, 280? 275, 280, so you can have him line up on the line, but he's such a freak athlete. You can also have him stand up at pass rush. But for the sake of our roster, I'm going to put him down on the line. You have Devon Hamilton, who's a nose tackle. Eric Armstead, a veteran that fits this scheme. Linebacking corps, we're going to go with the big-time athlete, Yasir Abdullah. We got Olukun and Devin Lloyd, even though I think we may need to consider Olukun a potential cash-out this offseason. If 88 X Factor, what is he, 30 on the dot? Much like Evan Ingram, might be what kind of value can we get and assist and maybe speed run this rebuild a little bit if we can get some good picks back in return. And then if we don't get good value, still an X Factor linebacker. You can work with that. You have Josh Hines-Allen as a 91 X Factor. I think right now a priority for me on the defense is got to find a way that gets him active. 3-4 defenses are the bane of my existence for rebuilds because you can never find one that gets after the quarterback or gets good sim numbers as a pass rusher. So there's a very big risk right now. Dark cloud over this rebuild saying, oh, look, Josh Hines-Allen, 91 X Factor. You got yourself a freak. Well, I could see him just cannibalizing himself because he only gets 5 sacks because 3-4s are pretty bad. But luckily, and hopefully, some combination, if we decide to go with the Bucs or the Rams, I'm not sure yet, we'll be able to utilize the talent that Hines-Allen brings as a pass rusher. Up in the secondary, you got Savage and Cisco. I do like Cisco. I've been a fan of his since college. He was a ball hawk in college. But likely, don't know about the stability at safety. At corner, you have Tyson Campbell, who's kind of like Trevor Lawrence. Like 2-3 years ago, it was like, oh man, one of the best young corners in the league. Superstar dev, I believe he even had. Now it's question marks. You got Jerrion Jones, who I think started the year as a rookie with a hidden dev. Lost that, so that means everything is kind of trending in the downward direction for this secondary. It is a position that is very much going to be a prove it. If, say, it'd be awesome if Campbell and Cisco could start playing great football. It can establish themselves as long-term pieces. But if they don't play good enough, I don't think there's enough there for me to, keep them on the roster for the sake of keep them on the roster. They got to earn their spot for this rebuild long-term. Because the stats across the board ain't good. I thought actually bringing in Mac Jones was a very smart decision. But, Trevor Lawrence, he got racked in that Texans game by Aziz Al-Shaair. So, unfortunately, he wasn't able to finish the season, but not a great strat line there from Trevor Lawrence. You have just not great play from the running backs, all things considered. Everyone not named Brian Thomas Jr. had not a good year. Versus, be it they're a drop-off in play or injuries or whatever. Brian Thomas is the only guy that's kind of happy offensively. On the defensive side of the ball, Devin Lloyd had a pretty respectable year. 10.5 sacks from Trevon Walker. That's, it's almost like a finally, right? Because you've been seeing, as Jag fans, Aiden Hutchinson just hit the ground running, be dominant. Honestly, before the injury, I think he was running away with Defensive Player of the Year. Hey, finally, 13 TFLs, 10.5 sacks. Always knew it was going to be a little bit of a slow burn with Trevon Walker because you're drafting a S-tier alien-type athlete that needed to refine, his technical abilities. That is awesome. And for Josh Hines-Allen, I'll take that. If that's going to be his floor in this rebuild, a 10 TFLs, 8 sacks, can be happy with that. But we need to find at least that third pass rusher. And unfortunately, in this secondary, that's a huge need for us looking towards the 2025 draft is secondary. We just got no DBs that can make plays. So as we start free agency, we have 2 fifth-year options here, one for Devin Lloyd, one for Trevon Walker. And honestly, I think in both these cases, you want to decline them. Devin Lloyd is a little bit of an older rookie, but let's get him locked in. I do like Cisco. hit him with a 4-year 24. Hey, let's go. Okay, I think that's a nice piece of business there. Brandon Schrift, too expensive. Not really seeing much that needs to get re-signed. It's absolutely brutal. I've gone through the entire roster, trying to see if I can get like, any bit of wiggle room to cut some players ahead of free agency to get, because we were like at 40 million. There is so many terrible contracts that you can't get out of on this roster. I can't free up a single penny. Brutal. So for our moves to free agency, I don't want to spend a lot of money. That's kind of been the issue that the Jags are in. But I got 2 Philadelphia Eagles here that I think both would be worth pouncing on. One, ooh, okay, we get Milton Williams. So he is going to be an upgrade over Eric Armstead. I'm going to go Milton Williams, Trevon Walker, Devon Hamilton on that front 3. Now, we're trying to get Mekhi back in because he can play guard tackle, but he would be plug and play for us at right guard. And we're able to bring him in. Come on. No income tax here in Florida, so that should always help us pull some of these big-name free agents. In our business in free agency, now our attention shifts towards the draft. Well, the most recent mock draft has us taking Will Johnson, the corner out of Michigan, which, I'm not going to lie, when I made the decision we're going to do this rebuild, he was kind of the target that I was thinking of, and it should fall into our lap that way. For the 5th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have a severe, desperate need at corner. Let's also entertain the fact that Abdul Carter is still not on the board here. That's just not going to happen. Will Johnson, a top 5 true talent, a blue chip, prototypical corner that, I mean, we haven't seen since, well, it's not been that long, probably like Sauce Gardner or Derek Stingley. Take your pick. But Will Johnson, maybe the more sure thing at corner over Travis Hunter, where Travis Hunter is probably going to play a little corner, mostly corner, I imagine, with some wide receiver. An all-out-and-out corner. A guy that hopefully not only can elevate this defense, but elevate Tyson Campbell to get back to the prospect that we need him to be. Offensive coach Liam Coen goes defense in Will Johnson, gets the number 2 player in the class, getting him at pick number 5. Home run. And then we double up in the secondary here. In the second round, Nick Emmanwori. He's a beast, man. 6'3", 227-pound, built like a linebacker, can play center field. The safety out of South Carolina. We got A tackle, A hit power, C zone coverage. Right now, 4.38 and almost 230. Sorry, Darnell Savage. I mean, we still could maybe even utilize Darnell Savage a little bit in the nickel. But we're going to go and commit to an all-out secondary rebuild here. As we get number 33 in true value at pick 37. 94 speed at almost 230 pounds. He's like a Trevon Walker of the secondary. We'll develop him. We got another great value pick here. I'm already talking about potentially trading Olukun, Barrett Carter. Great talent value there. Big-time athlete, very similar to Emmanwori. Carter started as a safety at Clemson, moved to linebacker, but I think he give us a nice shot of youth injection here. Be it long-term partner, maybe with Devin Lloyd or whatever. But number 68 in true value at pick 69. Those are 3 slam dunks for the Jags to start this 2025 draft. With that selection, able to actually strike a trade, sending an 88 X factor, and we have 2 4th-round picks this year. Essentially, the meat of the trade is I'm getting a 2026 second-round pick from the Browns. I threw Luke Whipple in here, just youth at center, but more so to make the salary cap work. I might have just ripped myself off there, honestly. But that second-round pick, I mean, if we can hit on that, it's going to be a realistic class. So it's difficult. It's not like I'm getting a cheesy Madden-generated class. But if we can hit on that, that'll be huge. Our last kind of our premier pick here in the 3rd round, we'll get Kobe Bryant, who's supposedly tearing up the Shrine Bowl. We got B-man coverage, 6 feet tall, adds depth to still a great, even going early at corner. I still think we can add a lot more depth. Number 87 in true value, getting him at pick 88. No dev trait, but probably will pull a decent rating. 5th round, we get Devin Neal, the running back out of Kansas, because I'm uncertain about Bigsby and ETN long-term, and he actually turns out to be an insanely valuable pick. Number 78 in true value at 133. Pulls a dev trade. Another value pick just slipping out of the charts. Torrey Horton, wide receiver from Colorado State, 108 in true value, getting a 165. I don't know why he was slipping, but we'll take him. We'll take a look at our draft recap. Almost all 70s plus. Got Kyle McCord here in the 7th round. Maybe that's dogging him a little bit as a 60 overall. But Horton, 70 with a dev trait. Neal, 71 with a dev trait. Kobe Bryant, 71 normal, but will present great depth. Barrett Carter, 72 with a dev trait. Was pretty much the added push we needed to sell on Olukun at linebacker. Emmanwori, 74 hidden dev, will be a day 1 starter for us at strong safety as we completely revitalize this Jacksonville Jaguars secondary. And the home run pick, now over 79, over. Oh, Dev trait, Will Johnson, 91 speed, 91 acceleration, 83 man coverage. He's a dog, man. Baller. Put him on an island. And at the start of year number one, I think it's time to sell while we can. Didn't get crazy offers, but these are kind of like our fringe bubble guys. Evan Ingram, 85 superstar tight end. Devin Duvernay's a 75. He's 27 years old, plus brings big-time special teams ability. Darnell Savage, 75. I think he's 28 with A-star dev. We had the most interest from the Carolina Panthers, so I threw in my 6th and 7th round pick this year and a 4th round pick next year. And what we get is Jatavian Sanders, who's a young, upsidey tight end. The Panthers drafted Tyler Warren out of Penn State, so it's kind of a surplus there for them. And then we're able to kind of look forward to the first year that we have Madden-generated classes, and we're able to pick up a 2nd and 3rd round pick from the Panthers in 2 years' time. So we're at the midway point, just stopped because we finally had a little bit of good news. Got smoked by the Texans, and we put a hurting on the Carolina Panthers 41-12 with our first player of the week performance from Trevor Lawrence. 300 yards, 4 touchdowns on the day. I feel like our passing offense has been good. I think the rest of the team has been whelming, to say the least. And I also don't think our salary cap's in a particularly great spot. $73 million. And, I mean, we got some decisions that need to be made. I'm thinking, who needs to get re-signed? I never think Trevon Walker needs to be in that discussion. We did not pick up his 5th-year option. And I think the plan is to get, and they're telling me right now, the plan is you pay him now, and he's going to be fantastic come year 2028, 2029, 2030. He's going to be an absolute steal. So let's see if we can get him on a 5-year, $70 million deal, which we do. Gambling that his best football's ahead of. I think Devin Lloyd is also worthy of a contract extension. I think we probably hit him with a player-friendly 5-year, $70 million deal, and he is locked in. Just under 50 remaining. Our run game is non-existent, so I don't think we're paying Travis Etienne. Christian Kirk in the slot. He's looking for a 3-year deal. Honestly, I don't love any of these contracts. And we'll obviously, and I think also we're going to decline the 5th-year option on Anton Harrison, even though I think there's a ceiling there. He's 23 years old, probably will finish the year 75, optimistically, maybe 76. Do we pay a punter? Will the punter come back for 2 years? Hell yeah. Okay. Good business. So at the end of year number one of this rebuild, good and bad. I mean, the decent is we go 7-10, so it's progress over 4-13. We also have a offensive-minded head coach here, Liam Coen, and we finish with a top 10 offense, top 5 passing offense, rushing offense, kind of butt cheeks. Passing yards defense, considering we went after Will Johnson in the first round, Emmanwori, the safety, in the second round, so we threw some pretty heavy investments into the secondary, and it seems to, it's the strongest group of the defense, so I feel pretty all right about that. Look at that, Trevor Lawrence! Top 3 in passing, and I see 43 touchdowns. Yes, sir. 3rd in yards, 2nd in touchdowns. That is a lot of picks. There's no way. Dude, those 22 picks might hold him from getting superstar dev. Maybe. I'm going to say it's probably 50-50. I mean, 46. If we can cut down on those picks, and you're telling me that Liam Coen can get Trevor Lawrence throwing for 40 touchdowns plus a season, we're going to be in for a good rebuild here. Running the ball, whoa, those are like the worst rushing numbers I've ever seen. Devin Neal, the rookie, might have been the most productive. So, hey, happy we did not pay Travis Etienne. Honestly, maybe regretting I didn't ship him off and sell while the value was at an all-time high. Brian Thomas Jr. continues to be incredible. Not in the slot either. Outside, I had Gabe Davis in the slot trying to salvage that contract a little bit. And he had almost 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns, and 9-9 for Christian Kirk and Brenton Strange at tight end with a respectable year. But Brian Thomas Jr., dude, what an absolute baller. 1,500 yards and 16 touchdowns. He could very well, he's on Superstar Dev, he could very well get promoted to an X Factor. Devin Lloyd was great, 96 tackles, 2 TFLs, sack and a half, 3 interceptions. We got 8 sacks from Trevon Walker, 6 from Josh Hines-Allen, 6 from Milton Williams on 11 TFLs. I don't want to say that's brutal, but it ain't great. And if this is Josh Allen, he's 28. 28 X Factor might actually, I'll say this, if he loses his X Factor and he goes down to superstar, it might be in our best interest to trade him. If edge rushers are not going to be the featured primary pass rusher, it's going to be more on our line, maybe get value where we can with Josh Allen. For the picks, the rookie Will Johnson with 4 interceptions. That should certainly put him in the discussion for Defensive Rookie of the Year. 3 for Lloyd, 3 for Emmanwori on 85 tackles. He should be right there with them. I mean, happy with those numbers. 2 picks, Tyson Campbell and Cisco as well. Ryan Thomas Jr. is runner-up for Offensive Player of the Year. Mika Abuka goes in and replaces T. Higgins and wins it as a rookie. What? Come on, dude. 3rd? To start the offseason, we lose our starting center in Mitch Moores after 11 years, so that is likely a position we want to look at replacing. And take a look at our roster. The interceptions cost. Trevor Lawrence has an insane +6 to his base rating. Unfortunately, no superstar dev, man. We broke the Jags record for passing touchdowns, and still no dev trait. The good news is Brian Thomas Jr. got his X Factor. That is a huge get, only 23. I mean, he's going to be a 99. It's only a matter of time, which is awesome. Look at the rest of the offense. Oh, man, it's such a bummer, man. Trevor Lawrence getting 26. Like, you're getting closer to that point of no return for a quarterback in his development. For the rest of the team, no other dev traits up or down. Defensively, Josh Allen keeps his X Factor. Will Johnson is an X, and I don't think he was an X Factor. I think he was a superstar that gained an X Factor, so that's pretty insane. Hat change, sweat my ass off there a little bit. Barrett Carter, hidden dev, star. Emmanwori, hidden dev, star dev. No other dev traits up or down. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, cool. So to start free agency, we're going to let ETN and Christian Kirk walk. We're going to decline the 5th-year option on Anton Harrison because I want to get him under a long-term contract extension. And, yeah, I mean, we're going to have to likely see on the open market. Center will be a position. Nose tackle will be another position I'm going to be highly interested in. Maybe even an edge rusher. Finally, we can get a little bit of leeway from some of these contracts. Eric Armstead, veteran, you don't need him. We're going to free up almost $10 million there in salary cap. So for free agency, we're going to continue just to poach away Philadelphia Eagles. Last year was Milton Williams and Mekhi Becton, and this year we got Cam Jurgens on a 2-year deal to be our starting center. So as we look ahead at the 2026 NFL Draft, where do we need to go? And I look at the offense, and I mean, you know, you're slightly concerned about the tackles, but look at if you know, Harrison is 23-77. Little is 77, like 26. So, like, they don't have a lot of upside. And maybe if the right tackle is available, or if tackle is clearly BPA, we could pull the trigger there. But, like, ultimately on the offense, I feel like we can develop these guys. And there's not, like, an immediate, that is 100% where we have to go upgrade. Defensively, I think a nose tackle would help. I think you certainly could look at a pass rusher. I think you look at another corner, even though, like, do I really want to invest another borderline top 10 pick in the secondary? I don't know. I think another argument could be, like, do we sell high on Josh Allen? Like, what kind of value is a 91 X Factor going to get on the open market? 29, so still has plenty of good football left. We got Jerry Jeudy, nope. Jamel Dean, nope. Like, I take those guys if you're throwing in a first-round pick. Ube Malayan, nope. CJ GJ, nope. Darnell Mooney, no thanks. That would never happen. No, like, just, ugh. Hey. Don't hate that one, but why would they make that trade? You know what I'm saying? We're in that weird spot of, like, that's interesting. They don't plan on re-signing Brzee. He could play, what is he, 310? He could play nose for us, I think. Can he be a nose tackle? 305. That's a little light in the ass to be a nose tackle. So we're just not getting the right value. So I think we just, you know, I'm willing to, you know, commit to a little bit of a fire sale, but there's 0 offers there instead of taking Malik Neighbors. So, you know, we might just be in like a straight up BPA for the draft. So we gotta sit and wait all the way to pick number 9. Looking at the board, Peter Woods going to the Chargers. He was a nose tackle. That was interesting. Anthony Hill's an edge rusher. TJ Parker's an edge rusher. Ruben Bain's an edge rusher. Ugiungalele's an edge rusher. Cam Williams was a top tackle. So honestly, a lot of positions that we might be like, yeah, we're gonna go get them. Those guys are off the board. Damn. Okay. Well, we got Caden Proctor, top 5 projected pick, still available. That's our best option right now because I'm not saying Walker Little. He's probably not going to be the answer at left tackle long term. We have Maui Goa also scouted here from Miami. We got a pass block, a run block. Okay, not a first, second round talent's a little suspect. We have Keldrick Falk, who absolutely would be a scheme fit. 6'6", 293. We only have another year left of Milton Williams. Got Corleone, who can play nose tackle. He's a first-round talent. Harold Perkins scouted. He'd be an awesome pass rusher to have, man. Absolute. Man, we got a lot of interesting decisions here to make. I know what we need to do. Who's a free agent next year? Who can we save money on? Harrison. I plan on re-signing Anton Harrison. So, but that is technically, there is a tackle hitting free agency, tight end hitting free agency. I mean, our nose tackle. Oh, don't make me get the nose tackle. What about year 2? 2 years left on their deal. Is there anything else there? Okay, Walker Little got 2 years left. Milton Williams still has 2 years left. We gave him a pretty decent contract there. All things. I mean, the pick that makes the most sense is Corleone at nose tackle. So we're able to trade back a couple spots here to pick 13 with the Dolphins. I threw in a 3rd round pick next year because we're able to gain a 2nd round pick in 2028, which is where we can do a lot of damage in the 2nd round, if you know what I mean. Maui Goa goes at tackle. Falk goes at defensive end. So now being able to pick up that extra 2nd round pick, I think it makes a whole lot of sense now to select Corleone at nose tackle. That is a day 1 starter, the only day 1 starter we got. Maybe not the best available, but he is legit. He is number 11 in true value, getting that pick 13 with the dev trait, the Godfather, 94 strength, big-time athleticism as well. I don't want to cheese, but tackle likely would be our next big position in need, and I have unfortunately used both Blake Miller and Josh Simmons in rebuilds, so we kind of know that they're both hidden dev players, but I think Walker Little at tackle, it'd be good to get a little bit more upside. And that's what we're going to get here in Josh Simmons. 81 in true value, a little bit of reach at 41, but anytime you get a head and dev tackle that is 6'8", 315 pounds, you feel pretty good about it. Now we kind of have like a BPA here with our second round pick, Deshaun Womack. First, 2nd round projected edge rusher out of LSU, has B power, C finesse, fastest. I mean, that's a legitimate athlete. Kind of just a shot in the dark. There is no one else really. I was kind of hoping tight end would have a decent role here, just to get maybe someone with the dev trait in that room. 111 in true value at 46. Yikes! At least we get the dev trait. Take a look at our draft recap. We get some depth here late in the draft. Across the board, mostly on the defensive side. We got a Mari Nyblack, former Alabama tight end, 70 overall in the 3rd round. No depth trading that, but he's a big-time athlete with that 87 speed. Womack, who will be a outside linebacker in our scheme, which let's do that now because the rating could take a little bit of a hit. He's going to commit with, challenging Yasir Abdullah for that left outside linebacker spot. So he goes from a 7, I'm going to guess 68. Yep. But he still has a dev trait, so that's kind of interesting. Then we got Simmons, 71 with a dev trait. Maybe we'll see if there's any flyers on someone wanting to trade for Walker Little, so that we just throw Josh Simmons to the Wolves right away and get him starting at left tackle. But Corleone is an absolute stud. Power rusher. I think he's going to give us some pass rushing ability from the nose tackle spot. 77 with that dev trait. That's a good pick. Plus, we were able to trade back and get more assets for that first Madden generated class where usually, it's not a for sure thing, but usually we can do a lot of work there. Pittsburgh Steelers are desperate. Left tackle is their biggest team need. They were actually offering me more value. They're offering me a second-round pick in Peyton Wilson, who's a dev trait linebacker, but that'd be a little rich for my blood for a guy that's depth and surplus. So what we're going to do to try to make it a little more realistic, we're going to give Walker Little and a third-round pick in 2028 to move up and get another second-round pick, which will give us 4. We'll do some damage. We will do a lot of damage. So here's how I look at our squad as we go into year 2 of this rebuild. Expectation: if Trevor Lawrence can play at the same level that he did last year and cut down on the interceptions, I think we will be looking at a superstar dev quarterback. We got Cam Jurgens in free agency, Josh Simmons in the second round, kind of bringing the offensive line together. Horton's going to have an opportunity. Our very lucky, surprising hidden dev wide receiver out of Colorado State from last year's class. He's going to be our wide receiver 3. I think I'm going to keep Gabe Davis in the slot for the time being, but that could potentially change. Excited to see what Devin Neal can do as our starting running back. Defensively, front 3, I want to see a lot more production. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Walker had a pretty good year. Now we have a true traditional upsidey pass rush ability nose tackle, which I think could be a difference maker for this defense. I want to see Josh Hines-Allen get into the double digits of sacks would be awesome. And I want to see this secondary continue to force turnovers like they did last season. 7-10 in year 1. I mean, looking at this team, I'd like to think at least above 500. 9 wins should be our target, at minimum. All right, let's keep it here live. Through only 4 weeks, we are 2-2. It's nothing too crazy, but I do want to get ahead of contract negotiations because we declined a 5th-year option. But we do have a back-to-back wins, beating the Dallas Cowboys with a Player of the Week performance from Trevor Lawrence, 4 total touchdowns on the day. That is good to see. That is hopefully level of play that we go down. Again, 9 wins minimum. I don't think that's anything too ridiculous to want to try to see and achieve here this season. Look at that contract, $82 million. And as far as people, I mean, Harrison's the first guy that I definitely want to pay, and we're going to have to hit him with a 5-year, $73 million. What? Come on, you're like, you've kind of been flirting with like being a bust. Ezra Cleveland. I mean, I don't hate a 2-year because he can release 30, and then by that time we could probably draft his successor. I think Gabe Davis is playing well enough to earn a 3-year contract, to keep him to at least 30, keep him for the remainder of prime, and then we can kind of sell off. But we definitely want to come back to the table here for Anton Harrison. And you know what? I'll also give Brenton Strange an opportunity. I'm not going to give him the contract now, but if he gets like 700-800 yards, 7-8 touchdowns, I'll be interested. So I wanted 9 wins. We got 13. And as we can see, I mean, couple L's along the way. Lost to the Giants, lost to the Texans. But, I mean, pretty insane. I think the biggest thing is our defense. Our offense is pretty much in line with where it was last year. Top 10 rushing offense, nothing great. But our defense last year was not good across the board. We end up with the number 2 defense overall in the league. So looking at our numbers, Trevor Lawrence, very, very good. Again, 4,400 yards, 46 touchdowns, back-to-back, 40 bombs for touchdown. Hey, Liam Coen knows how to rewire a quarterback. What else can you say? And he cut his interceptions in half, which should almost guarantee Trevor Lawrence a dev trade increase this offseason, which what better time than now. Our run game, to say something nice about it, it was complimentary. Nothing too crazy there. Receiving 2 big dogs. Gabe Davis, who's got a contract extension, 91 catches, 1,100 yards, 18 touchdowns. That could very well be a dev trade increase for him, bringing him from star to a superstar. Horton was solid. Strange, I said I needed 700 yards, so unfortunately we will go elsewhere at tight end. But man, oh man, we got something special here in Brian Thomas Jr. 98 catches, almost 1,400 yards, 17 touchdowns. An incredible playmaker. And on the defensive side of the ball, Devin Lloyd over 100 tackles with 4 picks. We got 13.5 sacks for Josh Hines-Allen, 12 from Travon Walker, 10 from Corleone, 6.5 from Milton Williams. Abdullah got after it, 3.5 from Womack. Those are maybe the best sim numbers I've seen in a 3-4 in a minute. And I'm just going to make the assumption that Corleone's kind of the missing piece that put it all together for everyone to have big-time seasons. Now, I need to see this from here on out. I'm not saying we need, this could be the ceiling, and maybe it could be a little bit lower, but we need stuff that's in line with at least the total sacks. What is that? 25, 35, 41, 45. Like, you know, hey, if I can get 40 plus sacks from here on out minimum, I'm going to be very, very happy. Our interception number is really nice. Low with 4 picks, 4 for Tyson Campbell. Great bounce back year from him. 3 for Will Johnson, 3 for Cisco as well. I honestly thought Trevor Lawrence would be higher up in the MVP. Did Coen get Coach of the Year? Wow. The disrespect. Wow, it continues. Runner-up for Corleone. Not gonna lie, I thought we had wide receiver on lock. I guess I'm wrong. Closest we came to award was Mekhi Becton getting lineman of the year. Then our first playoff appearance on the rebuild, far from an easy task, because we have the 9-8 Bengals, who also have a very prolific offense, a number 3 offense, number 2 passing offense. They also have a top 10 rushing defense. Joe Burrow almost threw 50 touchdowns, so it's 2 electrifying quarterbacks going at it. Here in the wild card round, we'd love to get at least a playoff win under our belt. That's exactly what we get. 33-17. Our offense showed up. Theirs did not. We get 2 touchdowns for T-Law, 2 interceptions on Joe Burrow. Devin Neal with a great game. Brian Thomas unstoppable. And on the defensive side of the ball, a couple sacks and picks going to Lloyd and Kobe Bryant. Our gauntlet through the AFC North continues. As in the division round, we get the 11-6 Lamar Jackson-led Baltimore Ravens, who are very, very good across the board. But Lamar only throwing for 23 passing touchdowns is a little low by his standards. If we keep under wraps, we can keep this run going. But unfortunately, we do anything but allowing the Ravens to score 42 points. And we missed out on the chance to lose to the Chiefs in the championship game. Wow. I mean, they went toe-to-toe, but 2 picks by Trevor Lawrence had a little Joe Burrow. Run game wasn't really there. Brian Thomas continues to be just an absolute monster. Only got 1, not a lot of pressure. Kind of let Lamar took this one over. Hey, 1 playoff win coming off a 7-10 year last season. We go 13-4 and we get a playoff win. I'm going to be optimistic. As we clean out our lockers on a successful season. Damn, no dev trade for Gabe Davis. I bet you he got it and lost it. There's no way you get 18 touchdowns and not go up a dev. He didn't. Weird. But the most important one is we get the roll here on Trevor Lawrence up to an 86 superstar. Playing like a 92 with all of his boosts. And that's what happens when you... we can work with that. Number 12 quarterback. We've already shaved off in only 2 seasons his ranking amongst the league. The rocket has been strapped to his back. Simmons was hidden dev. It is star. No other dev traits on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, Emmanwori goes from star up to a superstar, which I love seeing that. Womack was hidden dev. He's just a star. I would love to see, especially double digits for the D lineman, 3-4 D lineman to go up dev trait, but I'm not going to be too picky. Defense upside still looks outstanding going forward. To start the offseason, we're going to decline the 5th-year option on Bryce Thomas Jr. so we can get his very expensive contract. But knowing that, we're likely going to be frugal in free agency this year, so we have more than enough money to cover that. And everybody else, thank you very much for your services, but you're no longer needed. Tight end was really the only position I was interested in potentially investing in free agency, and there's just not a particularly good role. I did set tight end as my focus scout for the upcoming draft. And I think that's where we're going to go. We're going to roll over that $80 million cap so that we can pay our very good roster and keep everyone in-house. So we're going to sit and wait till pick 28 of the first round and looking at the picks that have gone. Looks like we're still going to have our pick of the litter at tight end, which is the position that we focus scouted. Didn't really get any hits. Well, we got Tradez Green, 6'7" with all the... Yeah, well, there you go. There's our guy. Get a couple LSU players in this rebuild. Let's add another one, number 74 in true value. Big-time reach. But a 6'7" player with 91 acceleration, 87 speed, and a hidden dev trait. You ain't mad at that. That ain't a reach. So now we're into the second round. We don't have a pick till the 5th. So this is really our last big contribution from the 2027 class. And, I mean, Josh Allen ain't getting any younger. 6 feet, 230. Lewis Carter out of Oklahoma has B tackle, B pursuit. He also had A in finesse move, B tackle, elite jumping, great speed, 4.5 speed off the edge. Let's see if we can get ourselves. It's going to be the dev trade. We can get a dev trade here. That is a nice little piece to sit behind Josh Allen and develop. If there's no dev trade, is what it is. But number 56 in true value at 60, not bad. And we do get the dev trade. Let's go. So take a look at our class. Not too shabby. Got Ty Simpson here for one more. I think he was a 5-star from Alabama. Just added some depth. But for our 2 picks that are going to contribute, Lewis Carter, 72 with a hidden dev, sitting behind Hines Allen, and Trey Green, 72 with a dev trait, and he will be a day 1 starter for us at tight end. So early on here, year number 3, off to a decent start, 2-1, back-to-back wins, put up 40 a couple weeks ago on the Buccaneers. But why we are here right now is because we declined the 5th-year option on Brian Thomas Jr., and we want to get ahead of that contract as fast as we possibly can. Oh, that is a lot of money. And he needs even more. We got to make it happen. Milton Williams. Got our special teamers going. Got Milton Williams. Got Cam Jurgens. 2 guys we've already signed in free agency. I'm thinking we pay Brian Thomas, and then we that's a lot of money for a 28-year-old. But Milton also, he had double-digit sacks last year, so he's playing well in the scheme. You know what? How about this? He gets double-digit sacks again. I'll offer him a 2-year deal and keep him until he's 30. So we're going to give from $216 to $220 million over 5 years. Good God. All right, so 2 things I want to touch base on here in year 3. We are looking pretty good. 7-3. We have a 30 bomb against the Saints with a 5-touchdown player of the week performance from Trevor Lawrence. Now, haven't been racking up the player of the weeks. Way back in week 5 was the last one, but he's still playing at a very high level. But here's a real test right here. You get the Kansas City Chiefs on the road in the regular season. Good little idea of where we might match up if we run into them in the playoffs. And it is, that doesn't really give us a clear answer. 46-45, we lose. But, bro, what? So at the end of year number 3, there's good and bad news. Good news is we finished real strong, put another 50-bomb performance up to close out the season with 6 touchdowns from Trevor Lawrence. The bad news is technically, by almost every measurement, a step back. Last year we were 13-4. This year we're 11-6. Last year we were the AFC South champs. This year the Titans have topped us. At least we get to see right now. Look at that. Top 5 offense. The number 1 as far as passing yards. Our defense is playing like a top 10 defense. And we get to find out right away as the playoffs start here in the wildcard round who the true big dogs are in the AFC South. Take a look at our stats. Trevor Lawrence is on cheat mode. Ladies and gentlemen, Bucs playbook. We got 4,800, and I've seen that this kind of tracks a little bit. I've seen Baker Mayfield have really good seasons in the sim. Now, don't know if I've ever seen him, sniff a 50 bomb, but I've seen, and I was anticipating the offense to be good, the defense not so good with the 3-4, and that's kind of been the case here. Trevor Lawrence, 4,800 yards, 49 touchdowns to 9 picks. I think the most impressive thing in his development was year 1 of this system and scheme was we had great output, but the interceptions were a problem. Interceptions held him back in depth. He'd be an X factor right now if it wasn't for the fact he threw 22 picks his first year learning the Liam Coen offense. But the fact that he has basically shaved those in half back-to-back seasons, and we finally have him living up to the billing of arguably the best quarterback recruit, quarterback prospect of all time, is pretty awesome. Our run game, complimentary. Receiving, what? And he only got player of the week that one time against the Chiefs in the loss. 133. Now, I put him in the slot. I had a feeling he might be crazy if I put him in the slot. 33 touchdowns! 33! We got Tampa Bay offense. Now, I did, because I didn't like the numbers of the Bucs, I did go Rams defense because it was a toss-up. Do I go with Rams defense or Bucs defense? Coen comes from the same tree. But we are rocking the Coen offense. West Coast, zone run, which I'm not even a perfect scheme fit offensively for. There was not one game that I hopped in and got 6-7 touchdowns with Brian Thomas to pad his stats. This is... I'm speechless. Tell you what, if he doesn't win MVP, I don't know. That is the greatest wide receiver season by a long... That's records and touchdowns in a single year. Does it also help that he is insane? 99s almost across the board. 6'3", 209 pounds with 96 speed, 95 acceleration, 99 catching, 99 catches traffic, 99 short run, 99 meat, 99 deep, 99 spec, 99 release, 92 jumping, 98 ball carrier vision, 99 carry, 94 change direction, 97 break tackle, 97 juke move. He should be. And the talent is there for him to break records, and that is exactly what he's doing. And the defense, dude! 3-4. Josh Hines-Allen, 17.5. 17.5 for Travon Walker. 6.5 for the nose tackle. Milton with 5. That's fine. He's hitting free agency. Ladies and gentlemen, the LA Rams 3-4 defense. Round of applause. Wow. All right, so, wow. What? I mean, he did have 48 passing touchdowns, 5 rushing, which, not a robbery within the context of, it was between him and Trevor Lawrence because it's a quarterback award, but I mean, if not now, is there ever, like, honestly, you'd have to have 3,500 yards and like 50 receiving touchdowns to win MVP as a wide receiver. Brian Thomas runs away with Offensive Player of the Year award. Damn, close. Josh Hines-Allen, a runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year. Trevor Lawrence wins Quarterback of the Year. 100%. He will be an X Factor next season. That's a big win. Brian Thomas Jr., Wide Receiver of the Year. Yeah, because he has the greatest year of all time. And we get Linebacker of the Year for Josh Hines-Allen. But right there, Brian Thomas Jr., receiving yards, single season record. Receiving touchdowns, single season record. Now, there's no way we go one and done. I mean, there's a way. But our offense should be able to score points on everybody, Kansas City Chiefs including. I don't care that the Titans have Iamaleava and Travis Hunter on their team. Don't care one bit. I have the most unstoppable wide receiver, the most unguardable wide receiver in NFL history. And there we go. We start out with a nice win, 28-6. Our defense stepping up. And look, the Chiefs, okay, they're at the other side of the bracket, so that's a good roll. Trevor Lawrence, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions on the day. Clean. Devin Neal was nice. Brian Thomas with a hat trick of touchdowns. Defensively, we got a sack and a half. Hines-Allen sack from Milton and Corleone. And a pick from Tyson Campbell as the Jags keep on rolling. So next in the division round, we get the 14-3 Chargers. Good record there for Harbaugh and the boys. They got Woods at nose tackle. Justin Herbert threw 40 touchdowns. Ladd McConkey had a hell of a year. But, you know, they're a good team. They're not that we're going to show them respect and upgrade our players. Hopefully we get a couple starters here, which we do. And Harrison and Travon Walker, one on offense, one on defense. And we're going to need a full effort here. Both complimentary football to take down the Chargers and buy a ticket for our first AFC Championship game. And of course we would win, and it's against the Chiefs. We get a Player of the Week performance, 38-17. Trevor Lawrence with 5 total touchdowns and 500 yards. He's a machine. And the Chiefs kind of smoked the Bengals in that one, but I'm feeling John Gruden nicey that this is your destiny. We are literally just unstoppable. We are putting up a staggering amount of points. Now, probably should have had a better record than 11-6, but all things considered, I'm not scared of the Chiefs. All things considered, when you're not scared of the Chiefs, you're not scared about anybody. I mean, look at the other side. You got the Panthers who've developed around. You got Green Bay, who's, a consistent NFC team. But this is the Super Bowl. This is clearly the 2 best teams remaining in the playoffs. And, I mean, I'm not saying that it's a changing of the guard, because there's not a gigantic age difference between Mahomes and Trevor Lawrence. But I like to think if we're talking OP offenses, maybe, just maybe, look at that. I mean, Kansas City, they're top 10. Like, closer to 10 than they are 1. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's Kansas City. If we lose, it's only year 3. We still got 7 more years if we need it. But if not now, win. All right. Green Bay won. Did we win? We have a Player of the Week performance. I love trying to guess. Oh, Trevor Lawrence had 6 touchdowns and Will Johnson had 2 picks. I'm going to guess we won. We lost them in the regular season, 46-45. Brian Thomas had 250 yards and, 4 touchdowns. Another shootout. A little bit of garbage time points there from Kansas City, getting 18 in the 4th. But look at that, man. 2 quarterbacks going toe-to-toe. They know how cheesy they both are. But outstanding by Trevor Lawrence. Brian Thomas just disgusting. He's a cheat code. We have solved how to beat Kansas City. It's Liam Coen's Jags with Brian Thomas in the slot. And the Super Bowl is set. The Jags against the Packers. Evenly matched. 87 overall against an 88 overall. You look at Green Bay, the #1 rushing offense. Top 10 overall offense. Our defense has the advantage. Our passing offense has the advantage. They can run the... Hey, if they can run the football, they could win. But in almost any other scenario, I think here in year 3, we need to get out of this rebuild early. You know, we'll still go 5 years. But I'd love to get that house money and try to make this more of a dynasty rebuild rather than so close yet so far away of... You know, there's been rebuilds like that, man, where we get an early Super Bowl appearance, we lose in embarrassing fashion, and then you never know. Could take a little bit of a mini rebuild to get back there. But I think with the way that we got this offense rolling, it'd be incredibly disappointing if we can't finish this historic season off as Super Bowl champs. So let's do it, man. It's only year 3, so I'm not going to hop in. Unless we're like winning big, then we just maybe throw a touchdown to Brian Thomas or something. Try to do something like that. Something nice. But year 3, don't need my mitts all over the outcome of this game. I think we are more than good enough to win within the confines of Madden for them to deem us sim-worthy of being Super Bowl champions. So let's see what we got. Opening drive, Green Bay scores a touchdown. It could be a shootout, but as shown by our couple games against the Chiefs, we are very, very comfortable in shootout-type scenarios. As by our lead at halftime, up 14-7. Got a good drive. They go for it, 4th down, turnover. Ugh. They're going for it on 4th down. Ooh, okay, so we're up. The field goal. Oh, are they going to be able to get this? Jags up 6. Onside kick from Green Bay. We recover. Greatest offense of all time. We go 4-0 in the play. We don't even win our own division. That is still the most shocking thing. How is this offense that put almost 50 touchdowns, right? Greatest wide receiver season of all time, and our defense was top 10. How are we 11-6? I mean, check mark early. We still got 2 more years. Year 4 and year 5 of this rebuild. Try to turn this into a dynasty. I want to see this offense repeat. I want to see Brian Thomas get another... He had 33 touchdowns. Who's getting MVP here? Trevor Lawrence was clean. 170 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Brian Thomas is like, yeah, I'm still going to get my touchdown. Don't worry about it. Defensively, Trayvon Walker with a TFL and 2 sacks. I mean, you know what? Screw it. I don't even care. All MVPs go to Brian Thomas Jr. this year. Start the offseason declining the 5th-year option on Will Johnson because we're going to give him a big-time contract extension. Actually, knowing that we only had 2 years left, I probably actually should have accepted it. But whatever. The absolute luxury of winning a Super Bowl early, knowing that it's not going to go 6 years, 7 years, et cetera, et cetera. I think 7 is the longest we've had to go. We got $63 million salary cap. We lost Milton Williams to free agency. He's been a good role player for us. But you know, now knowing that we're kind of playing with house money, even though we declined the 5th-year option, which I shouldn't have, but we'll pay Will Johnson next year. You know, we might as well spend our money when an upgrade is there. And you know, just won a Super Bowl. You got Jalen Carter kind of interested joining the fellas here. Now, he might not pick. But if he did, it'd be cool. But you want to go chase a ring? You want to come be a part of something special? Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Aaron Donald 2.0 does. To top it all off, we got a lot of good picks this year. I got a 1st round, couple picks in the 2nd round. We focus scouted defensive end, which fortunately I don't need for our scheme, but any of these guys that can stand upright and rush the passer, we might be able to make some magic happen. And we have Tyreek Burrell, that could be available for a 2nd rounder. DeLoach could be available. We got Cedric Adams, who almost should be available, first rounder. We got Millard, first rounder. Like, so we're gonna have some options here. Just because Josh Hines out, not, no spring chicken, getting his successor again. Even though we drafted and hit on one last year, it's always good to have your options available. We get another first rounder, but Kareem Knight is more of a 3-4 defensive end. We need a starting center because we let Cam Jurgens walk, so I scouted the top 2, and they both look pretty good. They're both going to be available. Trying to guess, we got double B pass block. I mean, almost identical stats down the stretch, but the fact that you got B pass block, A run block, a little bit of a tiebreaker there for Carpenter, who could very well be our first-round pick. So first things first, here in the first round of the 2028 draft, we're going to wait all the way to pick 32. And we'll take a look at who is available. Hopefully, we still have some great options off of our scouting. Both centers are still available. I think we can wait till the second round there. We have Cedric Adams. Probably going to be it. First round talent at pass rush. Now, late rounders. I don't have a depth trait, but we got A power, B tackle, C block shed. Real good combine. Fastest 40-yard dash for the defensive ends. Cautiously optimistic we got a player here. Trust our scouting. Number 11 in true value at 32 with the dev trait. 88 acceleration, 84 speed, 88 strength. The rich get richer. Got a bunch of second-round picks, and we start with a top 5 pick in the second round. I don't think we mess around. Now, I actually do kind of need a safety a little bit, as Cisco is not getting any younger here. But unfortunately, Pierre Allen does have the B. You want B-man or B-zone? That's kind of what I look for. He is B-zone and a decent combine, but we wouldn't have to draft him now. Or at free safety, got B-zone on Chad Rudolph, who we might have to draft now. Combine, I think we grab our center first because that 100% need a center. And Carpenter's kind of the best of the both. And then we can look at maybe safety. And here we go. What do we got? Number 33 at 37. And we get a dev trait roll. We're going to grab the safety here. Chad Rudolph with the B-zone coverage. Decent enough combine, but it is a pure blind. Pure blind pick. And, I mean, I am not looking forward to our next rebuild because we are using up all of our luck here right now. This is insane. Number 12 in true value. Another safe-looking pick. Falling out of the first round. Nate Starks, 3 Bs and a C, unless there's a reason why he fell. Even then, not bad value. We'll just keep stacking the dev traits. All right, let's blind pick here for a position I don't have the best blind pick luck for. And that is corner. And even then, we still got a couple guys. I mean, we got, this got to be an A-zone coverage. I just sticking it like a sore thumb. 6'1", A-zone, B-press, C-man. Not a crazy combine, but finish out the second round. We just, okay. All-timer. So to follow up an all-time rebuild season, we have an all-time type draft. 4th round, we get a 75 hidden dev guard out of Washington here in Teddy Irvine. Just kind of is what it is. McAllister, 75 dev trait. Stark, 73 dev trait. 76 for Chad Rudolph. 74 for Lyndon Carpenter. And Adams, 76. You never get 76 pass rushers with a dev trait late first round. I guess we do. Disgusting work. Absolute I mean, I think the only complaint is we didn't get the number 1 player in this draft class, who never had a chance. Jelani McIntosh, 81 pass rusher here going to the Raiders. Congrats, pairing that with Max Crosby. Ooh, 90 finesse move. But I think looking at how well we played last year, knowing that we're defending, reigning Super Bowl champions, knowing that we have the greatest wide receiver quarterback combo the league's ever seen, and we follow it up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 70-plus hidden devs from a draft class. I almost say, like, this rebuild's not going to be successful if we don't win another Super Bowl. We'll just start year 4, pick up the pace a little bit here on the rebuild because we got a God squad. No weaknesses. And I just want to see, is there going to be a drop-off? Like, we've seen rebuilds. That's not the first time I've had a wide receiver go over 30. I remember we did with the Jets once. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams. So it can be outlier, but I mean, anything 20 plus. 33 is insane. I'm not expecting him to get that again. It'd be cool if he did. But you just can't see the gigantic drop off. Then with the defense, we had Jalen Carter in free agency, multiple hitting devs. I'm actually good with Rudolph over Cisco. Give the young guy a chance to make the most out of his rookie campaign, but God Squad. Good news is at the midway point of year number 4, we are 6-1. Crushing it. Maybe not crushing it at the level that we did last year, but we're still crushing it nonetheless. The bad news is, signing Jalen Carter is going to cost us a little bit at some point. So Will Johnson has to get paid. I think Emmanwori needs to also get paid. And he doesn't really want to be here, which hurts. Don't need to pay the running back. Can survive without Barrett Carter. Can survive without our wide receiver 3. Would like Tyson Campbell back. But, I mean, we got to, I think that looking at it, I think we can make it work where we can get Josh Allen and Emmanwori to re-sign. But that means we're going to be going to year 5 with the need of a new running back, new middle linebacker, new wide receiver 3, new corner 3, new right guard, new left guard. That's going to be a lot of roster turnover. But first things first, let's make sure we get Emmanwori and Josh Allen re-signed. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pivot. Emmanwori keeps, beating around the bush here for a new contract. You're a safety. I like it because you're homegrown. They got you on our first draft class, but you are a safety. You are very replaceable. No, is not replaceable. Our pass rushers are getting 17 sacks a season. See ya. So defending our Super Bowl crown, we go 15-2. You look at the rankings, fairly in line with where we were a year ago. But at least we are back on top. We win our second AFC South title of the rebuild. And it's the first time we have been the 1 seed in this rebuild. Looking at the passing numbers, well, I can tell you right now, one guy behind my webcam there is going to be Brian Thomas, but I'm not seeing Trevor Lawrence in the top 3 for at least yards. He's 4th, 4,600 yards. He has 48 touchdowns, 6 picks. Our run game it's still not amazing. It's still complimentary, but that's probably the most production they've had. And Brian Thomas follows up 2,300 yards and 33 touchdowns with 2,000 yards and 31 Ladies and gentlemen, go do it yourself. The formula is here. Jags fan. I know there's not a lot of Jags fans. But we have found out through our last couple rebuilds, Green Bay's offense, incredibly cheesy. I think there's a Liam Coen. Bucks got something. I've never seen. Unless I've been oblivious. I don't think Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are putting up these type of numbers. Now, no one else really ate on the offense, but when you have a freaking machine, that's all you need. Our defensive numbers, Trevon Walker, 14 sacks, 11 for Hines Allen, 10.5 Corleone, 7 from Jalen Carter. Not getting great production. Then, of course, Emmanwori leads the team in picks after our contract dispute. So we get a below 500 team in the divisional round, the 8-9 Cleveland Browns, who, they're scrappy, top 10 rushing offense, probably like an average, like a top 10 defense, but a buzzsaw coming, they're coming to town. We fucking lost. Dude, no way. No way. The Jags dynasty ends to a 8-9 Browns team. Shador Sanders. Oh, God damn it. I mean, 4 sacks. Fucking. What? So the Bears take our crown. Get Coach of the Year, Liam Coen. Offensive Player of the Year, Brian Thomas. All that stuff. Damn it. So here's something that, and if you had like a developer come out and say, C4, there's zero coding, there's zero influence that thinks it can have anything. A couple rebuilds ago, we had a very potent offense, and the following year, it was literally, it made no sense how bad it was. And the only thing that changed was our head coach, our offensive coordinator got poached, and we just signed someone new. It'll be very interesting to see if that continues. Look at, because we're just gonna rock and roll their offense. In case it does have, I'm not gonna go cheesy with the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll go, I think Minnesota. That's still have really good offense there, but it'll be something to keep an eye on. Just if there's any type of regression offensively, does our coordinators have anything on the sim? I really don't think so. It could be placebo, could be tinfoil hat, but it happened before. And I'm saying this right now in case it happens again in year 5. For us, we got $29 million of salary cap. So we have the 5th-year option of Corleone. Sure, whatever. Doesn't mean it doesn't make any difference. 29 million bucks. Who's getting paid? We'll pay Barrett Carter, middle linebacker, one last position. We might be able to get a couple here. Emmanwori's gone. Could franchise tag him. I think that's the play, honestly. Franchise tag him, just coming under the salary cap. And it means for the draft, we need to get a running back, a third wide receiver, a corner. We have a guard replacement. We have a Cisco replacement. You know, a corner, guard, wide receiver in the draft. Running back is, I mean, the more I say it, the more it's like, okay, it's going to be pretty difficult. But if we can have a draft like we did last year, we might be able to keep this ship afloat. Now I'm just looking at running backs of Focus Scout. The first round running back, Damian Meeks of Oklahoma State. He's projected to go top 10. He's going to be, but look at this guy. Daniel Duval. Like, he looks really good. That has to happen, right? That has to be priority number 1. So we will Focus Scout him for sure. Other positions, we need slot wide receiver. I'm not gonna lie. Can we get like a 4-2 guy, UDFA? There we go. And Espinoza, I'm gonna Focus Scout him just cuz. And a couple 4-2-8ers. Any of them have crazy verts? I mean, it's gonna be this guy. He's a 40-inch vert and ran a 4.24. I'm telling you right now. There's our wide receiver. Boom. And we need a guard corner. So I mean, we could probably blind pick the guards, and then looking for a corner. We want to look at the attributes, and you want to see we can find someone in that like 70 to 100 range that has good man, good press. We have Armstrong. It's gonna be gone. We get A zone on Worthy. I'm going to say this guy, Dominic Davis. We got our 3. So I do want to see, out of curiosity, the 3 blind picks. Did we actually find 3 really good players? And look, Davis is a first, second rounder. So that's technically like a hit. There's another Duval. Oh. Now the wide receiver cheese kind of is what it is. That's not, he's probably going to be a first rounder. Yep. Okay. And the running back Duval is also okay. We're going to kill this draft again. For the first round pick, I think we got to go with the running back. Just get it away. Duval. Don't even need running backs. But hey, our running backs actually had their most production they've had this whole rebuild last year. So let's have a little bit of fun with that. We get number 23 in true value. Dev trait, 235 pounds with 92 acceleration, 84 strength. Hoss. Damn it! Oh, the quarter's gone. It's a bit of a bummer. Okay, we need a guard. Let's see if we can blind pick a guard. I got an A pass block guard here in Bill Johnston. Run block doesn't look the best. What do you have a right guard? Ooh, Mr. Beltran. A pass block, D run block. Okay, I'm going to go tiebreaker between the two. Who has the best bench press if we're blind picking? 33 reps here, combine overall. Little whelming on Beltran. I'll look at McCainer because he does have B's. Sometimes B's are... He's the best bench press and he's the best athlete. So we will consider that. But we'll look at Mr. Bill Johnston. What is your bench press? 20. Oh, dog shit. I mean, honestly, what's McCann's? Because we have B pass block. What's his run block? B or D, but he has A footwork. I mean, that's probably the guy right here. Randy McCain. You, sir, are blind pick to be a savior pitch starter for us of a future Super Bowl champion winning team here in year 5. Number 73 in true value. We roll a dev trait with 91 strength. Just out of curiosity, can we, like, I don't think there's one that exists. You can't blind pick what does not exist. We got a couple Bs in zone coverage. Here in Bronson and Doug Cox. Bronson is A catching, B press, B zone, elite jumping. That guy's ticking a lot of boxes off. What about Cox? These guys are UDFAs too, man. Double Bs, not good at all. I mean, we're in the weeds right here, but I mean, I feel pretty good. That is definitely not a UDFA caliber player. What do we got? Tell you, I'm not looking forward to my next rebuild. I've used up all my luck. Then we just wrap this one up with, you know, the cheese. Look at that. That is insane, dude. That guy should be the first overall pick. A deep route running, B release, B catching, traffic gas catching D. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. This is your walk-off. Number 16. And I got 2 hidden dev UDFA grade players, man. Disgusting work. So we follow up a God draft class with a pretty damn good draft class. Espinosa, 75 hidden dev. Bronson, 70 hidden dev. Both UDFAs. Obviously, Espinosa got just 99s across the board. McCann was a blind pick. I'll take a 72 hidden dev every day of the week. And then we get Duval for Duval. Remember that weird crate? Let's go win this Super Bowl. Let's bounce back a little bit. Looking at the rest of the NFL. Is there any, like, generational players? Ooh. I mean, fuck. Technically. So Meeks was the only first-round running back, and he's up there. But there was an 81 running back that we passed on. Normal dev, but still, I probably should have even discussed it. He kind of went under the radar. I just was blinded by Duval. So we survive our final year of the rebuild, trying to get our second. Like, if we don't get our second Super Bowl, this is going to go down as a disappointing rebuild. We know what we got. We added just insane talent. We needed a wide receiver. We got one. We needed a running back. We got one. We needed a guard. We got one. This offense does not have a single weakness. The defense. We wanted to bring in another corner. Oh, well, we got one. Boom. Bump him up there. We got Jalen Carter. We got Emmanwori back on a franchise tag, just barely sliding out of the salary cap to keep this team together. Held together with duct tape, our salary cap is. But the talent is undeniable. 15-2 last year, 1 seed first round bye, losing to a below 500 Browns team. If that is not the kick in the ass this team needs to go on here in year 5 and dominate and win another Super Bowl, I don't know what else you can do. Just sim to midseason and below 500. Are we still prolific passing the football? Oh, it's not bad. It's our defense. I mean, what? I was going to say, it's last year. We already got our Super Bowl. Check mark next to the rebuild. We got to at least squeak into the playoffs. There's no way. If we are truly regressing, it almost might be borderline worthy of testing. Of, like, meta overpowered offense, but you lose your fucking... we're still good passing. We're 7-10. 15-2 last year. We barely lost anything. You know? This is... There has to be something to losing your coordinators. Like, outside of the boost that they give you, fine, whatever, right? Pat, we did have a QB guru OC that got poached. But our passing offense, the only person that could have suffered explainably would have been Trevor Lawrence, because he wouldn't have had the +3 for short, medium, deep, and +2 throw power. He played fine. You're laughing if that's his stat line. 4,600 yards, 41 touchdowns. Our run game in line with where it was when we had Devin Neal. Our pass game is not game-breaking anymore, but if we didn't achieve, the 2 straight 2,300-yard, 30-some-plus touchdown seasons, I'm still losing my mind over Brian Thomas having 1,500 yards and 19 touchdowns. We got 1,010 for Gabe Davis, and really, that's what happened. Last year, and really the last 2 years, it's only been Brian Thomas. Literally no one else did anything. And while the touchdowns did drop off, it was like, all right, you just kind of took the difference between Thomas last year and this year and, like, kind of gave Gabe Davis a little bit more. Bucs offense still absolutely a new meta with Green Bay. But 7-10, dude. Our sacks fell off the map. Our defense fell off the map. You know, Josh Hines, he's getting older. It could happen, but there's no explanation for Walker and Corleone to suck. Our interception numbers are down across the board. Emmanwori with 5 picks. But there has to be something with coordinators and losing coordinators and then getting like some element of RNG that just makes your team dog shit. Because there is no way this team is 7-10. There's no way we lose to an 8-9 team and then followed up 7-10. Espinosa's superstar. Duval's a stud. Replace what we lost. Had the most expensive roster maybe in the goddamn league. Keep it, everyone. Keep it. It's unexplainable. And if I didn't have a Super Bowl win and I did all this, and let's say we lost that Super Bowl against Green Bay in year 3, and this, I would lose my mind. Because there's literally nothing. There's nothing you can do. This is the perfect rebuild. I built the perfect team. I've drafted better than I've ever freaking drafted, and you still get 7-10. Wrap up with what we've achieved here in this rebuild. Trevor Lawrence, I mean, Liam Coen came in, rewired Trevor Lawrence the same way maybe he did with Baker Mayfield, and we got him playing like a fringe. I don't know how we never won an MVP with him, but 37,000 yards passing, 296 touchdowns to 100. I mean, almost a 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. He's on track, right? Our run game was never. I mean, he got decent rushing numbers. You could throw into that as well. Receiving. The standard now. He is absolutely for every rebuild here on. We might have find a weird combo where we can put up literally video game unrealistic numbers. But until that happens, Brian Thomas Jr. and we weren't able to do this with Malik Neighbors. We weren't, I know people are screaming for Chargers. Can we get this going with Lad McConkey? I have my doubts. But in 6 seasons, Brian Thomas Jr. is over 600 catches, 10,000 yards, and 126 touchdowns. Now, I'm not going to do it because I'd be here for another 4 hours. But you could probably catch Jerry Rice with how Brian Thomas is playing. Gabe Davis, 8,000 on the dot, 75 tuds. But, yeah. You get another 5. You double it. You get another 5 years. Well, actually, I would say, hell, I don't know. I don't know what the state of this team is. Going 7-10. But Brian Thomas, it's fair to say, at least is on a pace to go down as the greatest wide receiver in NFL history. So congrats on that. Devin Lloyd, over 800 tackles. 108 sacks for Josh Hines Allen. 79.5 for Javon Walker. Bust no more. Got Jalen Carter late. 30.5 from Corleone. Happy with that number. 18 picks. Devin Lloyd, 12 for Emmanwori. 12 from Will Johnson. I'll give credit where credit's due. I've drafted DBs before. Haven't got any production, so the fact that we had 2 that we started this rebuild with, finished with 24 between them, really happy with that. This is the only thing I can look at, right there. Receiving yards, touch, that's the only, I can't look at that roster and know that we went 7-10. So let's look at what was the best thing that we accomplished, and that is, basically, unless I haven't seen people, C4 try the Bucs offense in the comment section. So I think we've discovered something. If you could get a 99 unstoppable wide receiver, and you pair that with a very good quarterback, you can break the game, essentially. And that is what we did with Brian Thomas Jr. here today. So you, sir, are an absolute legend. I will remember you for the rest of my life. Brian Thomas Jr., Madden 25. Absolute legend. And that will do it for me today, guys. I hope you were entertained. I hope you enjoyed this Madden 25 Jacksonville Jaguars realistic rebuild with Duval. Well, you can be as corny as you want. If you get your players to play like this, I ain't going to be mad at it. So with that being said, if it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button as we are working towards our brand new channel goal of 200,000 subscribers here on the channel. Please hit that like button and leave a comment in the comment section below about which team you want to see rebuilt next and what players you want me to draft. Helps out me for making content, helps out my videos in the YouTube algorithm with the robots. And ultimately, that'll do for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out, love ya. Have a good one, and don't ever, 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 ever lose your coordinators in Madden because it's apparently a death sentence for your team. God damn it, 7 and 10.